And I will jump then directly to introduce the last but not the least speaker, namely Mattia Santoro. And you will meet him shortly. He is a researcher at the CNR in Florence with a background from computer science. He's been working on methods and technologies for environmental monitoring. He's involved in artificial intelligence work also, both nationally and internationally. And I do know Mattia from many years also because he has been very active in the GEO community. He's been working and still responsible for the GEO DAB, the Geo Discovery and Access Broker, and contributing to the GEOSS Platform Operations. So with that, Mattia, we are very excited to learn about the GREAT project. So the floor is yours, Mattia.
Okay, thank you, Bente. I'm trying to share my screen. Okay, can you see my full screen presentation? Yeah.
Yes.
So good afternoon. As introduced by Bente, I'm here to present the GREAT project, which is the Green Deal Data Space Foundation and its community of practice. The project is funded under the Digital Euro program, and it is a preliminary action for the implementation of the Green Deal Data Space. It is a coordinating and support action. It is a quite short project, 18 months, and these are the partners that are involved in the project with IDC, which is the coordinator, and then we have all the partners that are listed here. The overall objectives of the project are, of course, establishing a community of practice for the Green Deal data space. It is to provide a high priority dataset list for data which is relevant for the Green Deal in general. It is to provide a technical blueprint for the architecture of the Green Deal data space, and to provide governance and business models input to the final object, which is the provision, the final objectives, sorry, which is the provision of a roadmap for the implementation of the Green Deal data space. So just to be very clear, this project is not going to implement anything. It is, as I said, a preliminary action whose main outcome for the European Commission is the roadmap for the implementation of the Green Deal data space. And inputs to this roadmap are the priority datasets, the blueprint, governance, business models, and of course, underpinning all of this is the construction of the community of practice, so with the involvement of the different stakeholders. The strategic actions that the project initially envisioned to address are the biodiversity 2030 biodiversity strategy, zero pollution action plan, climate change adaptation strategy, which you know, are quite well representative of the Green Deal scope, but of course the project does not in any way want to limit its scope to this or use cases only contributing to this, but is open to all that is relevant to the Green Deal, which is a quite, you know, wide scope. The timeline of the project, we started in September, and let's say that the first phase will finish at the end of the first year, with the release of the initial outputs, so let's say the phase one outputs as far as the blueprint, the governance scheme, and the high value data sets list, as well as the roadmap. These will have then a second iteration until the end of the project at the month 18. So CNR is responsible for the technical blueprint, and so I'm going to spend a few slides about this. I want to clarify that again, we are not going to do a real, I mean, the actual design of the architecture of the Green Digital Space. We are going to provide, a technical blueprint, so the architectural approach which will guide the actual implementation design of the architecture. So, as it emerged also from the presentations that were the preceding presentations, the main challenge is that we are facing an ever-changing world, both from the science and policy context and from the technological context. As far as science and policy, of course, you have climate change, ecological transition, but also environmental impact on Earth, so with the recent pandemic. So we have to be ready for these kind of changes, and the policies are, of course, the European relevant ones, which is the Green Deal, the strategy for data, the Data Act, the AI Act, and so on. And the same goes for the technological context. The technology moves very fast, and so clouds, IoT, edge computing, machine learning, digital twins, and who knows what is coming in the next years. So here what we have to be prepared to is the change. We know that there will be changes, so they are not predictable, but they are not unexpected. So, oh, sorry. Okay. So, which are the high level and principles that are driving our technical blueprint? Of course, high flexibility and modularity, independence from any specific technology or provider. We want to, as it has already been said, we have to build on existing and future systems. So we want to preserve and facilitate the co-evolution of the system participating in the Green Deal data space, and of course, provide equal opportunities of access. And then, of course, also address challenges such as belonging versus autonomy. So to be part of the Green Deal data space should be seen as an added value for an existing system, and as less as possible as a burden, reach a critical mass, and of course to be cost effective. So what we are approaching, what we are doing in the project is utilize the concept of the digital ecosystem as an approach. Here you want to focus on the service which the digital ecosystem provides to the society. In this case, we could think of something, sharing of trusted Green Deal data for the public. And this approach allows to design what has already been introduced, and is based on the concept of soft infrastructure, which is composed essentially of two elements. Of course, the agreements, the technical standards also, in order to implement interoperability And we envision also that there will be a set of logical components which will enable the creation of the digital environment. And here I list some of the possible ones. This is still a work in progress, so I will not spend time listing them. And of course, the governance, which is a very important aspect. Although it is not part of our blueprint work package, it has, of course, its own work package, and I put it here because it is very relevant for the blueprint design. Of course, we are building the community of practice, and we need also use cases for our work in order to validate also what we are doing and endorse this. So last week, the project published a call for use case, and here you find all the details, and you can find also from our project website the possibility to contribute with a use case that is very much appreciated. So here is the submission form if you want to be involved in the project. And we are having a webinar on the 1st of March 2023. And these are the links to the social media platforms and so on. And with this, I thank you, and I'm ready for taking any questions.